Seta yuchat duasak, de shitan ayachat, aklat sint ye duasak, aklikatutsa ye duasagan, aklik kleku ye duasagan, aklik Michelle Manet ye duasak gleka khena, aklik kukla ye duasak, dakloedi dakan ayachat. So my Tlingit name is Seta. It means little snipe or little bird. And I am of the split-tail beaver clan. I introduce myself by way of all my relations to start today in the spirit of humility and to honor all of those who came before me. In another way, I am Shantae Manet. My pronouns are she, her. I'm a registered psychologist, a certified yoga and movement teacher, a poet, a wife, a granddaughter, a daughter, a sister, and a friend. I am from and was raised in Yukon Territory, and now I call Mohkinstsis, Calgary home as well. The teaching of humility holds so many meanings to me, but mostly I view humility as the recognition that I am a sacred part of creation, and so is everyone and everything else. And I think that walking in humility means that we're always open to unlearning and learning all the time, and that we do our best to respect and to love all others while trying to keep balance with all of our relations. A few things come to mind. The first is not a direct translation, but it's a phrase in Tlingit that goes "Klech shaka du sheikh," and it means the people don't praise themselves. And then the second thing is a well-known quote from my great-granny Gatsutsa, and she is known for saying, "We are part of the land, part of the water." And when I hear those words, I feel humility in my body. It's so important that we embody the 7 sacred teachings, because when we embody the 7 sacred teachings, we get a real sense around what our values feel like. And when we know how our values feel in our bodies, we're able to align those values to our actions, and that leads to a more purposeful life. My wellness session relates deeply to the teaching of humility, because I think that when we practice embodiment, we might be practicing one of the most humble acts that we can attempt to do, because it requires us to be profoundly aware of ourselves. So that means we have to become aware of our strengths and also our limitations, which is a big part of humility. In the field of mental health, practicing embodied living is important decolonizing and also healing work, because historically the field of psychology has emphasized a neck up kind of knowledge, this priority given to our mind and to our cognitions, while not paying attention to the stories that our bodies have always been telling. And our bodies tell all sorts of stories. They tell stories of personal, ancestral, collective pain and trauma, but they also tell stories of our joy, of our love, of our wisdom and medicine. And Indigenous people have known this for a long time. You can see it evidenced in our songs, in our dances, in our ways of being. And so when in this modern context, we live an embodied life through practices like we're going to do today, we take back and reclaim that part of ourselves. We reclaim that part of our story, and we actually restore our right place in things, which is humility in action. Indigenous representation is so important because everybody deserves to know that they have a place in things. Everybody deserves to know that they belong. And historically, narratives that Indigenous people don't belong have been hurled at us through underrepresentation. When Indigenous folks don't see themselves in spaces, whether that's in practice, in literature, in social media, wherever it may be, we get the message that something is inherently wrong with us, that something about us disqualifies us from taking up space in this world. But when we see Indigenous folks represented in all of those spaces, we sort of inoculate ourselves to that narrative of shame. We sort of build this sense of resilience to shame, and we see the future that we can have. We see that we can have the life that we want, which is the message that we really should be sending to all people. My advice to future younger generations is Iguya Juan, have courage. Have courage because life is not easy. Sometimes life gets really hard. I know that and you know that. But if you need to look around you to the people that you love and borrow courage, do that when you can't access your own, because you're gonna need it. You're gonna need it to stand up and to do what feels right and to use your voice and take up the space that you rightfully should hold in this world. So that's my advice, Iguya Juan. When I'm feeling out of balance, I always come back to the practice of rest. It's a practice that's really hard in our modern day society to return to, but rest is so critical. And rest looks all sorts of ways. It can be a slowing down and a quieting. It could be meditation and prayer. It could be creative time where you're just doing things out of joy and play. It could be connecting with loved ones in a really meaningful way. It could be reading a good book. All of those things, spending time in nature. The rest is the most critical thing when I'm out of balance. So today's session will be a short medicine movement practice, and the practice itself is quite simple. We will listen to the music and listen to our bodies, and I will guide us through a set of repetitious embodied movements as we flow through the 4 directions. And that's going to take us on a journey through the stages and seasons of life, through the elements, and through the medicine that exists within each one of us. The movements are simple and they're easy to follow, and then the repetition is intentional so that you can feel safe in your body and that your nervous system doesn't have to worry about what comes next. You just get to be here and have your own experience. So I came to this practice and started moving my body in this way at a time when I was desperately trying to reconnect with myself in a meaningful way to access my medicines. And this practice and practices like it helped me to really access my emotions, my needs, and process that all through my body. I wanted to feel free, I wanted to feel alive, but I was also really scared of being known. And practices like this have helped me to tune in to that inner world and begin to express my authentic self. And so when I move like this, I feel free. I feel connected to myself. I feel connected to my power. I feel connected to all my relations. And I hope that you will also get that feeling through this practice. All you'll need for today's practice is yourself, your mat, your water bottle, some comfy clothes to move in, and 2 devices, one to play this video on and one to play the Spotify playlist called Medicine Movement that's linked in the video below. Okay, it's time to get moving. For the purposes of today, I will be staying forward facing to demo the movements, but when prompted, turn to the direction of the prompt. You can hit pause on this video and pull up the Medicine Movement playlist. Hit play and join me in a comfortable seated position. Place one hand softly on your heart, one hand softly on your belly. Begin to close down your eyes or soften your gaze, and try to keep your eyelids heavy for the remainder of the practice. This is going to allow you to tune into your body. And check in with yourself here. How's your physical body? How's your mental body? How's your emotional and spiritual body? Bow your chin in a gesture of humility, honoring the land that you're on, the people of that land. yourself and all your relations for showing up today. Lift your forehead and softly or silently to yourself repeat these words. This is my body. This is my energy. This is my life. This is my medicine. Take a deep breath in, fill all the way up through your nostrils. Deep sigh out. 2 more like that. Breathe in. Sigh out. In breath. Sweet breath out. Bring yourself up to your knees, quarter turn to the east. We're into our first movement. The movement goes like this: up, down, rise, bow. You inhale on the way up, breathe out on the way down. When we're in the east, we're in the season of spring. So let your body tell the story of seed to flower.
Don't be afraid.
Shine your heart forward to the sky.
Darkness is light.
Bow your forehead to the earth.
So don't you be afraid. When it comes the long night.
This is the quadrant that represents birth and childhood. So can you invite your inner child here today
Have faith.
to play?
Journey along.
Maybe you bring a smile to your face
You don't know.
and notice how good that feels.
The path is long. But if you try, you'll surely grow to heal past the sorrow that been keeping you low.
We start in the element of earth
So grow,
because it's where we come from
grow,
and where we return to.
grow, 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 grow,
Stay with your breath
grow.
and let the music move you to your own rhythm.
Even if you're wrong, you're wrong. Even if you can't find your way. Even if the journey is cold. Believe in love today. And I know that you will grow day by day. If you walk with love,
Begin to slow your
you'll
movements.
never be straight. Just grow, grow,
Press your hands into the earth.
grow.
Come to
You got
stand.
to grow,
Quarter turn to the south.
grow.
Wide stance here.
You got to
This is the quadrant that represents youth. This is the season of summer. The element is fire.
Slowly and surely, we'll make it through.
Feel the beat. Our movement goes like this. Squat down, drum round, come up, drum hips. Down, round, up, hips. Down, round, up, hips. If the deep squat isn't for you, this is your movement. You dip, drum, chest, drum. Dip, chest. Stay with the breath. Right away, you feel the heat. Fire starts burning. Drum like you mean it. Really hit the ground. This is your song. Maybe you access a memory or a time in your life where you needed that fire. Notice where your mind goes when things get really hard. Call in the people you love. Call on your ancestors. All of the people you would never give up on. Notice how love is fuel to the fire. Oftentimes here we access anger, sacred rage. Use the breath. Maybe some sounds need to come. Ah! Sacred rage tells you you're worth protecting. Slow your movement. Find stillness and standing. Soles of your feet rounding down into the earth. Spine tall. Heart hard. Bring both of your palms to the center of your heart, as if you could reach in and hold your own heartbeat, listening for the story your body is telling you right now. Maybe that story is simply your beating heart telling you that you are here, you are alive. What a gift. Quarter turn to the west. We're in the stage of life that is adulthood now. The season of fall element is water. Begin to flow like water. Feel the music in your body. Your hands and arms become waves. This movement has a qualitative feeling to it. Not like silk blowing in the wind, more like salmon run, salmon swimming upriver. there's resistance here. And so much of life is like this. We swim against resistance with something to push on our way to get to where we're going. And as you let your arms move, you might begin to feel this heaviness, this weight on your shoulders. And perhaps that's a reminder of how much you've been carrying. Let your gaze go to either side and watch those worries just drift on the surface of the waves. A little bit by a little bit. Water has this incredible power to transform, and so do you. You feel the waves growing, and perhaps bring your whole body into the waves. Moving through life with strength and fluidity. Slowing down to still waters. Come to take a moment to feel the ground beneath you, steady, strong enough to hold you. We're in the north now. The season of life, that's winter. The stage of life, that's when we become an elder. So much wisdom here. The element is air. Hold your fingertips out in front of you and begin to lightly wiggle your fingers, imagining that they become the breeze, the air. Take this breeze and, starting at your toe tips, begin to run your fingertips gently along the front side of your body, collecting this whole experience of movement today. Pausing at your heart, as if to receive a precious gift of movement as medicine. Breathing in, breathing out. And now call to mind all of those who might need this medicine too. All of those who you care about and who care about you. And with your next exhale, release this medicine to them. And we keep that rhythm going. Receive. Give. Gather. Hold. Release. In your mind's eye, you might picture those that you love, wherever they are, whatever they're doing, receiving this medicine on the wind. Feel your whole body relax into the earth. Quite literally, the land has your back. Let your eyebrows relax. Release the tension in your jaw. Your whole face relaxes. Relax your shoulders and your spine. Let your hips fall heavy. Legs and toes too. Your whole body relaxes. And as you settle in to your bed of earth in the support of the land, recall the journey that you've been on and honor the medicine that your body brought to your awareness today. And I'll leave you here for a moment and call you back when the time is right. All peoples have medicine. That is a great truth too. Medicine refers to those things that return us to balance, to wellness, to our proper size, and in the end, to the humility that is the root of all believing. Humility is another gift we share. Perhaps it is our greatest gift, because it is so difficult to return to and to hold. In truth, we were given this planet to walk upon so that we might find the medicines that would return us to humility. And from there, begin the great spiritual journey to the fullest expressions of ourselves. Richard Wakamis. Begin to wiggle your fingers and toes, waking up your body and returning to this moment, here and now, with me. Again, softly place one hand on your heart, one on your belly, and silently or softly to yourself repeat these words. This is my body. This is my energy. This is my life. This is my medicine. Gulchish, and remember, walk in humility and you will find your medicine.